quarter milestone review. So now, for the first part, I'm going to play a song on the piano, and I hope you can guess it. Everybody. Today I'm going to tell you about a story from our DLP about greed, courage, and wisdom. It's about Princess Elisa, the king, and Pygmalion. So, long ago and far away, there once lived a great king who was wise, who was good and wise, and was beloved by all the people in his kingdom. And it wasn't long before the king grew ill, and then he called his son Pygmalion and his daughter Elisa, and said to them, my time here, I don't have much time left. And then he said to Pygmalion, you still have a lot to learn. Though you are strong, it is that your strength will make you forget your heart. Then he said, I have chosen Elisa to follow me. And because it was foretold that Elisa will rule the greatest city in the whole world. And with these words, the good king died. Elisa wept, but Pygmalion just turned quickly and ran to the court and said, my father, the king, has gone to the gods, and I will reign in his stead. So it was Pygmalion, not Elisa, Pygmalion was named the next ruler of Tyre, not Elisa. So, Elisa had no choice but to bend to her brother's will. but King Pygmalion wasn't satisfied. So he asked Elisa to marry a man named Cerberus, who was struck by her I think abundance and beauty. Okay. Elisa was not happy about this request, but she had to do it because her brother was the king. So she married Cerberus, and it didn't turn out as Pygmalion thought. Cerberus treated Elisa with kindness and fondness and love. And Elisa became more devoted to her husband, and then Pygmalion was like a little mad, and then Pygmalion locked Cerberus up somewhere and told Elisa, tell me where Cerberus's gold or treasure is. And then Elisa replied, I do not know where he hides his treasure. If I knew, I would give everything that we have for his treasure. Doesn't mean anything to me. Pygmalion stormed away, unhappy. And then a servant stealed into Elisa's bedchamber and told her, Princess Elisa, there is trouble afoot. There's trouble afoot. You must leave now because your brother, King Pygmalion, is planning to lock you up in here forever if you don't tell him where Cerberus's treasure is. So you must leave now and save yourself. Elisa was obedient. Elisa was obedient, but she was not unwise. So she cut her hair to look as if she were a man, and then she gathered up all her most trusted followers and proposed that they would all steal away together. And then when her brother Pygmalion heard about Princess Elisa's plan to escape, he told his soldiers to go after Princess Elisa's boat. And when they were chasing, King Pygmalion was also there. And then Princess Elisa said on the edge of the boat, saying, Here is your master's treasure, but you must swim for it. She said that because he was throwing sacks in the water while they were sailing away. And Pygmalion paused to think which decision he had to make. And then finally his greed overwhelmed him. He said to his soldiers, Fools, get the gold. So the soldiers dived into the river one by one, getting the sacks that Elisa had thrown into the river, while Elisa and her people got to sail away safely. And when all Pygmalion's soldiers went back onto the surface, when they opened the bags, they were all filled to the brim with sand. And then while Princess Elisa was sailing, she and her people had reached the Gulf of Africa. And then the people native to that land saw Princess Elisa, and Princess Elisa said, "I have only come here to bargain for land." And the king of that country said, he said, what you can have the land as much as land that can be covered with an ox hide. An ox hide, I think it's something that they use for this thing for the ship, like the sails, and then like the skin of the ox. So Elisa said to her followers or her people to get a large ox hide from the ship. And then after it was brought, she said she wanted it to have, she said to make it be cut into the thinnest of strips, like really thin, like this thin. And then after they were cut into thin strips, Elisa laid it on the ground. Elisa and her people laid it on the ground and see how much land was covered. And then, after that, the beginnings of Carthage has been found. It wasn't long before Princess Elisa got to make the city of Carthage very quickly. Not long before, many people came to see the city that Elisa had made so quickly. And now the beginnings of Carthage have begun. And then Elisa got to rule the greatest city in the whole world, because it has been foretold. And these papers here, so this one is the Phoenician culture assignment. I have a drawing of Princess Elisa here, and then she's walking on the grass. And then, so here's Princess Elisa on the grass, and then here's the pathway going to her castle. The castle's right here. And then, after that, I made the map of where Princess Elisa traveled from and went to where Carthage is. So this is Carthage, and here's Tyre, where she's from. So look how far she went. From Tyre, going here, passing the Mediterranean Sea. Then they go up here into the Gulf of Africa. Then here into Carthage. And these pink lines are where they travel. And then here's our compass rose. And thank you. So, that story I told, what is the main topic of the story? So, if you have an answer, you can tell your answer anywhere, like on your audio, or type in the chat box. So, the answer is, the main topic is about how the city of Carthage was found or was made by Princess Elisa, and how she escaped from Tyre. And then, question number 2. So, who are the main characters in the story? So, if you have an answer, you know what to do. So, the answer is 3 characters. It's the king, then Prince Pygmalion, then Princess Elisa. Question number 3. So, question number 3 is, what are the characteristics of the king and Pygmalion and Elisa? So, what is the characteristics for the king? Then what's the characteristics for Pygmalion? Then the characteristics for Princess Elisa. So, the answers are, for the king, he's good, as it was described, good, and he was great and wise. And for Pygmalion, he was greedy, he wasn't content, and he's like a little bit mad all the time. And for Princess Elisa, she is humble, kind, wise, courageous, and obedient and loyal. So, those are the answers.
What have you learned?
And question number 4. What have you learned from the story? For me, what I learned from the story, I learned 2 things from the story. First thing I learned from the story is being greedy is not nice. Because if you're greedy, and then you get more greedy, and then more greedy, you will not be contented of what you have. You will always want more and more and more until you have everything. But you'll still not be happy. Still an angry, sad face. And the second thing I learned from the story is that being wise and being humble and kind gives you good results. And if you're not greedy, you'll have nicer results. You'll be the good person. Instead of being greedy and mad or sad, then you could choose the opposite thing of those. The opposite thing of pride is humbleness. Opposite thing of greed is not being greedy. And the opposite thing of being angry is being happy. The opposite of being sad is being joyful. And thank you. Cut. Okay. One question. So, what do you think how Princess Elisa escaped from Tyre from her brother? If you still remember from the story, then you know how to say the answers. And then, how was Princess Elisa wise? And then, how was she brave? See, she had the courage to change. Like from being a princess to being a queen. See? And you can also have the courage to change. Like me. Like an example. A person, first he's bad. Then he turned good. Because he had the courage to turn good. By God. So, have you ever felt like scared? If you have been scared, like sometimes, what you'll do is pray or read a Bible verse that's encouraging. Or pray. Okay, so thanks. Remember what we learned in science? We learned about trees and plants. So, for my milestone, I decided to show the plants I have at home. So this is called the Chinese evergreen. And speaking of its name, the type of leaves it is, it's evergreen. That means it stays green all year.
Really?
Yep. And this one is called the dwarf umbrella tree. Like it's a mini umbrella tree. And it's deciduous. That means its leaves might die or fall or change colors. Like in the fall. And what we have here, we have this one, called the variegated cronos. Crotus. Okay, whatever. So, and in the Philippines, we call this the San Francisco. Great job. Okay, and I think the leaves of this one are, this could be deciduous. Because look how that leaf is getting browns. So, this one, maybe it could be called the bamboo plant. The Chinese bamboo plant, some people call it. And I call this deciduous. Look, yellow leaves. Yellow leaves. What do we have here? We have the peace lily. This one's turning its back from the camera. It's shy, but this one's brave. So, the leaves of this one are deciduous. I can tell because of this leaf. This little guy is telling me that this is deciduous. Well, this is the money tree. Well, it doesn't give you money, okay? So this is also deciduous. See? Look, little browns on its tips. And here's the bamboo plant again. And the snake plant. I think this is also deciduous. Because I see that, like, you know, that little line. And we have this. Yeah, for our aquarium. I don't know what's the name of this one. But I think this one is the
golden photos.
Yeah, the golden photos. Wait, not the photo like what you get from the camera. It's spelled P-O-T-H-O-S. Instead of the H with the P, it goes H with the T. So here's the golden photos, but not because it's gold. So that's the plants we have. Remember we learned something else from our science? We also learned about how trees make their own food. And that process is called photosynthesis. And we also help the plants. We help the plants, the plants help us. And you know how is that done? We give the plants what we have. Like the carbon dioxide or the CO2. We give it to them, and then they give us what we need. Oxygen. And that's happening right now to this little plant and that little plant and all the plants in our surroundings. So we are all connected. All of us are part of the ecosystem. So if you want to do something outside, do not throw anything that is bad for plants on a plant. Okay? So be eco-friendly because we are also part of the ecosystem.
Hi, smiley plant.
We are friends with plants. Sometimes I even name the plants. Okay, bye-bye.
Hello, everybody. So we are at Rocky Mall, just outside my ballet door. Not really, just inside the door, and there's another door. So it's 2 o'clock right now. My ballet class will start at 2:15. So we're waiting out here outside my ballet school. And the weather is very nice right now. As you see, all the leaves here are moving. The ones right there. Pyramid.
Oh yeah. And it's pyramids here. So we're waiting for my ballet class.
Daddy.
Where? Oh, okay. So bye.
Righty, here, and then again. Point your toes, right and left, right, left, here, and point your heel up to the sky, and then you have to lift it up again one more time. Right, left, right, heel, and then from here. Oh, some of you dropped your arms already. You forgot about your skirt. Ha-ha! It's like a big smiley face, guys. Yeah? Stretch your arms a bit more so that the smiley face is there. Yeah? And then from there, you're going to run on your tiptoes. And the face to the side, lift. Point your toes. Even though we have carrot dishes, we still have to point our toes. Yeah? Okay, let's leave it up to there for now. And up. 1, 2, point your toes. 3,
I will sure right now, God will reach down and wipe our tears again.
share to you all is the Bible verse I learned this week: when you are scared. So you have to remember this. If you can find this if you have a phone or your parents' phone or your Bible book or anything that has verses on it, okay, you will look for this verse. Deuteronomy chapter 31 verses 6. It says, "Be strong and courageous. Do not fear or be in dread of them. For it is the Lord your God who goes with you." So the verse is right here. It was just in my journal book where I read some verses. So here, it's a copyright. So, okay.